Like, not talk as fast. I don't know. Let me not try to tell you what the fuck to do. You be you, honey.
Always.
Okay. You gonna start?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to
Madmix.
I'm your host, Noelle.
Sinitu here.
And we have another great show for you today.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about femininity.
Right.
And most importantly, why we believe that there's no such thing as dark femininity. Because ultimately, all femininity is dark. What do we mean by that? What does it mean for you? What does it mean for us? We're going to get into all of that good stuff. So stick around, get comfortable, and yeah, we're glad to have you back.
Yes, you guys go ahead and hit that like button because you already know you're going to love this video.
The first thing that we wanted to hit on was what is dark femininity versus light femininity, and why do you always hear those terms when it comes to describing how ultimately feminine beings or women, not necessarily just women, but all feminine sides of us might hear those terms. And for some people that are not super familiar with these kind of terminology, it might be a bit confusing to hear those two terms. Like, okay, like I just thought femininity was one thing. Like, what the hell is this dark femininity shit that everybody's talking about? We thought it would be a perfect time to hop in the conversation and let y'all know why we believe ultimately femininity is dark, and outside of that it's just what we typically call light femininity, and what that means as well, but it may not seem like what y'all think. So
absolutely,
I'm gonna let Zanutu get into the differences and ultimately what dark femininity is for her. But before that, I'm gonna talk to you guys about light femininity.
Yes.
And what do we think when we think of light femininity, or femininity in general?
Right.
It's that whole, you should be friendly and feminine and always be nurturing and caring and all these more positive attributes that we typically put onto women, that we see them and we say, is that how femininity is supposed to be? Like, if that's femininity, why are they so miserable? Why are they always getting the short end of the stick, per se? And why are they always the ones that seem to be the most disrespected, the most taken advantage of? And if you could relate to this, or if you were this person in your own life, you might be able to pick up on those traits because you've experienced that. I definitely used to be the nice girl, the one that used to always be there to please people. But ultimately, you realize that that's just a trauma response. And we can get more into that later. But ultimately, that's what the light femininity, when I think of light femininity, that's what I think. I think about always being in your love and light, love and light, love and light. And it's not always love and light. And when it's not, does that mean that you're not in your feminine bag? Yeah.
Very true. I think of duality a lot when it comes to life, nature, right? Everyone needs to have a balance of two aspects of themselves. So there's no exception for femininity as well, right? Feminine it is dark, and dark not as in like bad or evil, dark as in the womb, right? Dark as in the night, the cosmos. So dark energy is a creative energy, right? The moon, if you think of the moon, like it's creative energy. It's central. It is it's a mystery, right? Like it's alluring. You don't know, like the night, that's what dark femininity is to me. And then versus where it's light, it's more of like in your face, right? And being in your light self, right? And your sweet self, and your caring, and in your kind self, which there's nothing wrong with that aspect of it. But I think the way that people view it and it's kind of also, it's made up of, it's really just another term or another thing to really degrade women and scare women out of their power, because there's no such thing as dark and light femininity. There's divine femininity, right? And when you are in your ultimate self and you are the very force, and you know that, and to be in that aspect of yourself, even, you have to have the balance of the light. There's times where you need to be nurturing, and there's times when you kind of just need to be like, kind of take back your power, right? And it's in this patriarchal world, it's the word dark feminine is used to make you not be in your power, to be people pleasing, right? To do wife duties, to do wife duties in a relationship when you don't even have the commitment, to be a yes person, really, to do everybody's chore, to put yourself last. So it's kind of crazy that it's weaponized in that, right? And it's seen as oh, if you're in a dark femininity, like you're like a witch, or you're a bitch, you know, or whatever. And when it's not, that's not even the concept of femininity, right? So in that sense, it's great to have both. It's great to have your kindness when it's, and in your nurturing aspect to yourself when it's needed, right? It's good to be nurturing to the people that you love, to your family members, to your kids. But when you're at work, or when you are, you know, in a household where, you know, you don't have necessarily, you have to protect, right? You have to be in that all full power, in that you know, in your get your bag mode. That's all creative energy. That's all dark energy that you have to use, right? When you're sitting there doing your journaling, when you're being creative, that all comes from that dark aspect of yourself, right? That creative aspect of yourself. So you need both aspects, and not one is greater than the other. Both are valuable. It's good to have both, balance of both, right?
Absolutely. And when you think about, too much of anything is never good, right? You don't want to be a mean, dark person that nobody can get into your heart, nobody can get into your space. Like, that's not what we're getting at here. But also what we mean by it is, the way we see things is, you're either a healed woman who knows how to balance the different aspects of her personality, and who knows how to navigate within the realms of femininity. And you, just being in that, you are a dark feminine. Because what does it seem when somebody's well balanced? It means they're not too nice, but they know how, they're kind. Mm-hmm. They're not too eager, they're not too ambitious. But when I say ambitious, I don't mean like ambition is a bad thing, mm-hmm. but as in, like, you know, when all you're focused on is like work, all work and no play, makes you a dull girl, sweetie. So it's like think about that, you know, I can go have fun with my friends. And in that time, when I'm there with my friends, I'm like, I have my guard down, and we're all just, I'm giving him this love, I'm giving him all this juiciness, versus like, you know, you're walking down the street, or you're getting your gas at the best time of day, you kind of need to, don't fuck with me face has to come on, right? It's no, do you know how to balance that? Like, are you always in this like mean energy? Are you always in your love and light? You can't be. That's not good for anybody. Exactly. Like, you know, if somebody presents you with a dessert, what do people always say? If something's too sweet, oh, this is too rich, this is too sweet, you push it away. You don't want it. But when it's a nice balance, it's always so much more enjoyable, because we love a good balance. Absolutely. So you're either, like, from personal experience, whenever I was in that love and light, I thought that was where femininity lied, but really that's where a lot of it was just a trauma response, but also it was in a sense of, I felt like I had to be, since I am the nice, feminine, friendly, whatever, that I couldn't assert my boundaries in a certain type of way. So I got taken advantage of by, like, you know, a lot of men, and not a lot, but just, you know, when I was dating, I learned quick. Let me not say that I was over here down bad for all this time, but I learned pretty quickly, especially after my last relationship, like, and I started dating again, that, yeah, this is not the healing that I thought it was. Like, healing from that does not mean, it's not, the pendulum swings, but you kind of have to, it has to swing back and forth. Yes. And it's inevitable that it will swing. Like, those people that are always super nice, super sweet, super caring, super forgiving, I promise they have some of those darkest traits that you would ever imagine, because you have to let it out. Like, things have to progress. Just the same way as when you think about men, and like when you think about like toxic masculinity, it's not toxic. It's just the parts of toxic masculinity is the part of masculinity that does not honor the divine feminine or the feminine. And then when they're in their healed place, where they have that balance, where they have a good relationship with the woman in their family, when they have a good relationship with you, when they can come to the table as their full selves, that that's that healthy masculinity that we love. It's not dark masculinity, light fat masculinity. It's just masculinity.
There's no such thing as that. And
Yeah.
that's crazy to me, right?
Yeah, we don't
there's
have
no
that.
light masculinity and dark masculinity. It's just all one. But when it comes to femininity, it's dark
Yeah.
and light. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of crazy.
And the way, I think that's why I say like toxic masculinity, because that's the term that came out. Toxic masculinity is like equivalent to like that's just toxic masculinity. No, you're just not healed. Like you're just out here doing things that are damaging to you. Like, because if a man is in this place where he's not healed, he doesn't honor women, he doesn't honor the women in his life, then he is toxic. But really it's because he's not in balance, because all genders, all people have both sides to balance.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're out as a woman, when you're out here going to work, getting your bag, you can't be in your love and light. You're in that masculine mode. You're in that mode of business, taking care of things, taking care of myself, independence, saving money, being like having that head strong feeling. And then when you can kind of like, you know, like I said, when you're out with your friends and when you're out, get home, you kind of let down the layers, and you kind of chill, and you're kind of like in this relaxed mode. You're kind of coming with that like softer side of you. But if you don't ever get out of either mode, you won't be able to make money, or you won't be able to attract the kind of love and relationships that you want. So you can't be stuck in either or. And dark femininity is not something you throw on and then you take off.
Right.
Like dark femininity is in a sense is just femininity as it goes. You know, the women that you see and they look so alluring and they look so mysterious, but not because they're hiding shit, but because like you're just yearning to know more.
Yeah.
You're just drawn to them and you have no idea why.
That's both sides.
Yeah, because you can see that. Like you can see like, okay, like they're able to show up like this, but they talk like this, but they act like this, and I still don't know half the shit that I want to know about them. And it's kind of like keeping that mystery about yourself, keeping that, you know, energy about yourself. It just ultimately it keeps you from being a target, because unfortunately when you are this friendly, liked, whatever, you do get taken advantage of by users. And if you're a people pleaser, it's even worse, because then not only are you attracting users, but you're literally out there looking for ways you can accommodate everybody around you.
Yep.
And true femininity and true feminine energy does not chase anything.
Yep.
You just are, and you just receive. And if you have a hard time with that concept, all right, we're back. I'm sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. Apologies.
May I apologize?
So, as we were saying, as I was saying,
Yes.
Yes. So,
Nice gals.
if you
finish
don't-
last.
basically,
Yep.
nice girls finish last, and that's for a reason. And that's for, you know, nice guys. Nobody likes too much of anything. And if you don't learn to have that balance, if you don't learn to have that duality within yourself, ultimately you're not gonna have an easy time. And you can choose to not have an easy time, it's a choice. But I found that whenever I created that balance, as I'm finding and as I am creating, because I am in a learning process as well.
Absolutely.
So as I'm learning that, my life is just looking so much better, and I'm getting treated more of the way that I want to be treated. Because people kind of see like, okay, she's not mean, she's nice, but she's kind, but she's not a pushover. She still has her standards, she still has her boundaries. So I think that just makes you even more attractive, because it makes you feel like you know about yourself. And when you're too nice, you're too sweet, it's almost like, what are you trying to give away? Like, nobody likes free shit. Like, ultimately, like, we'll go to
Unfortunately.
we'll go to Costco, like, oh, free sample.
You just
I
don't
guess.
appreciate it as much.
You'll take
I
it,
guess.
but
Yeah.
like you're
You'll
not
take
gonna
it, but,
you're not gonna appreciate as much as like the stuff that you bought. Like, and that's just reality. So I understand that also works with humans as well. And once you learn to have this balance and understanding that there's no such thing as being in your light, being in your dark, you can be in your dark all the time, because dark femininity, like my sister mentioned, is that creative energy, is that womb energy. It's that, you know, a lot of people, when they talk about manifestation work, like I manifest in the dark.
Yes, cosmos.
In the cosmos, when I
Yes.
close my eyes and I envision things, that's all is darkness.
Yes.
Yes, the light is beautiful. I have no qualms against. Please, thank you.
I love
the
having
duality.
both.
I like
Yes.
the duality, but I ultimately, most of my work, most of my creative energy, most of my songs, most of my songwriting is just heightened when I'm in my darkness. And that's why I know that's where the true creative energy lies. Yeah, so nice girls finish last, and too much of anything is not productive for anybody.
Absolutely. And to kind of piggyback on your point you made earlier.
To kind of piggy.
Like, as y'all can tell, we love recording in nature because it's absolutely beautiful. It's all feminine energy. That's why we give flowers to the women in our lives, right? Because that's honoring your divine femininity. That's as a man, especially if you are wanting more abundance, if you're wanting more success in life, you can tell, like, the men that honor the divine feminine is what I like to. I want to replace dark feminine with divine feminine, right? And so if you honor the divine feminine, and if you are the men that are successful and are in their bag, usually you see them accompanied with a woman that they, almost worship, right? Obama, right? There's plenty of them. Any others?
I'm sorry, Obama just threw me off.
we're like, like the famous, I'm
just
I'm
look
trying to
around
be
the men in your own life.
Yes, let's do that, I guess.
Like, think about the men in your life.
Yes.
Think about the men that work for their families, that work hard, that don't complain about women having too high of standards.
Yeah.
Because they understand that being a woman is just such a divine thing.
Exactly.
And obviously that's not to say that, like, being a man isn't a divine thing, but know your role. Because also, like, as however you identify, if you are in that bag of understanding the dualities and you embody both, you're gonna get respect, you're gonna get accolades, you're gonna get trust, you're gonna get opportunities, you're gonna get the kind of partners you want to attract, all because you're coming from this healed place.
This place of respecting divine feminine, because women are the closest thing to divine source.
Divinity.
We have wombs. Like, we can create a human being and birth it into the physical 3D realm, right? So if you're wanting to obtain things, material things, I would suggest honor nature, honor the divine feminine woman in your life, and that's pretty much it. So
we hope that this conversation, or this particular conversation, put in a little bit of a nugget of information in your brain. If maybe you're confused about why people talk about the two different sides, they're really, it all goes in together. It all goes hand to hand. That's why we say it's just one thing. Femininity, when you're in your healed space. And I know we say, like, healed is also another, like, buzzword that you hear so much these days. But I don't know. Like, I guess if there's a better word I could find for it.
It implies that you're broken, but you're not broken.
It's not just that. It's just you've done the work and you understand and you've thought about things.
There you go.
And so it's like, when you have thought about things, when you see it, and when you see the change in your life. Because if you're not coming from the opposite side, you can be like, okay, like, whatever, like, this conversation I hear is getting so tired. And yeah, maybe it is, but it's about, like, just understanding that the reason why, that's why we always say it so much, that's why you hear it so much, because that self-work is so important.
Absolutely.
And it's ultimately going to make sure that you attract only the best things in your life. If you are a woman, especially a young girl coming up, and you are pressured to not be a bitch, to not be da-da-da, like, I'm sure a lot of that weight, as long as it's not coming from a hard place, as long as it's not coming from a place where you're just closed off and you're just, like, spitting at everybody, like, everybody can get the smoke kind of energy, like, don't be ashamed. Because I know, like, my sister, she's always been more on the fiery side, and a lot of people will call her things like selfish. They'll call her a bitch. They'll call her, not me, of course,
okay.
Not me.
Yeah.
Other people.
Yeah. Okay.
But I was, like, the complete opposite. I was a pushover. I was a doormat, like, for so many people, and that was just because and ultimately both of it was trauma response.
Absolutely.
But now we could come together, learn from each other.
Exactly.
Take aspects of her personality that I like, and she could take aspects of my personality that she likes.
So no.
And together we're like,
together we're better.
We're better together.
But, like, seriously though, duality, even in the relationship, like, we have totally different personalities. So even in that, you know what I mean? So, like, it's, that's why relationships and interrelationships are very important in life when it comes to your growth.
Yep.
And when it comes to spirituality.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely.
So that's basically all we have to say. So again, once again, thank you so much for joining us and staying to the end of the video. We love when you do that.
I love y'all
And
so much. Comment on there. Put flowers, flower emoji, tree
Yes.
emoji.
Giving all the
Yes.
flowers, and we're giving you your flowers
Right back.
virtually, imaginatorily.
Mhm.
Yes. So
All right, you guys. Till next time.
bye.
Bye.